Quick note before today's video, if you guys are buying any cards because of the new ban list, please use my link in the description below to tcgplayer.com. What is up guys, Dzeeff here, and apparently the ban list just went live, so we do know about it and I cannot wait to react to it. It is over a week past the no sooner than date, and I know a lot of people thought they wouldn't even reveal it until after like March 15th, but here we are. It is March 11th and we do know the ban list. Let's take a look at what's going on, because honestly this format is pretty stale at this point. I think overall it wasn't too bad of a format, but we did have some really problematic cards, and I'd like to see some of those get hit on the list. What's also fun about this ban list though, as we open it here, is that we did those polls a couple weeks ago on the channel where you guys got to predict what would happen on the ban list, so we can see how accurate you guys were. Anyway, the forbidden and limited list, let's take a look here. Hopefully it's actually on the, okay, for the first time in one of these videos in a while, we actually have it up on the regular North American site here, so let's take a look. The next update after this will be no sooner than July 1st, 2021, so quite a while. Please note, the change to Firewall Dragon from Forbidden to Unlimited does not take effect until April 14th, 2021. Interesting. And this change doesn't go into effect until March 15th, 2021, so we still do have that March 15th date, but a lot of people thought that they wouldn't actually reveal the list until that time, but at least they're giving us a little bit of a heads up here. I think that's because there were like some EU events going on this weekend, so people thought they were going to wait until after those were done. So this is pretty cool though. It looks like the Firewall Dragon Errata is not going to happen until it gets its ghost from the past print. If you remember with the Makira Errata, there was an issue where on the database it wasn't updated for a little while, so there were like a couple weeks, I think maybe like a week and a half, where Makira had its old effect even though it was off the ban list. Maybe they were trying to avoid something like that with Firewall Dragon happening, which would be a complete disaster, because at this point Firewall Dragon probably would be a lot more broken than Makira, at least right now. So it's cool that they're not going to make that change until April 14th. So this way, as soon as the new effect of Firewall Dragon is printed, we will have it off of the ban list, which is pretty cool. Looks like they're going to unlimit it as well, which is not very surprising. The new Firewall Dragon is pretty bad, but let's take a look at what's banned. We have no effect monsters. No, okay, no fusions, but we do have a link monster here. Hopefully you can see it on the screen. Union Carrier. I don't want to scroll down too far because let's hope there's an Xyz monster that got banned as well. So Union Carrier, very interesting card here. It is currently being played in some decks. Obviously in Drytron it's very good, but we've seen it in all sorts of decks. They recently banned the Buster Whelp on the last ban list, I'm pretty sure, but Union Carrier has had tons of other uses too. I mean, equipping Block Dragon, equipping all sorts of cards just to get them in the graveyard. So it's one of those cards that does limit card design because it is so generically powerful, so I can understand why they want to ban it. So now we won't have to deal with Union Carrier going forward. Okay, scrolling down, any synchros? No synchros, and okay. That's pretty surprising. We do have True King of All Calamities. Fuck yes, we want this card out of the game. Thank you, Konami, for finally banning this card. This card is so bad for the game. But also number S0 Utopic Zexel. That is very surprising to me. The Numeron engine has not really been doing that much. I mean, even on release when it was at like peak hype, people were not really playing it that often outside of like Guru decks. The engine is just not as good as people thought it would be, but I guess Konami is really taking a stand against cards that skip your opponent's turn basically. So Zexel and obviously the Calamities, and even if Zexel isn't that good right now, you know, it always has the potential to be good. It is obviously a very easy card to summon, even if the card itself hadn't been that successful after the release of the Numeron support. So maybe Konami is trying to future-proof the ban list a little bit here by saying, okay, yes, we're going to ban Calamities, and obviously that card has seen a lot of play, but they might be afraid of people then just jumping ship to Utopic Zexel, so they banned that one as well, which is pretty insane. These are some pretty big bans. It does go along with kind of what I've been saying for a couple ban lists now. Konami does not like combo decks, and Konami does not like the cards that skip your opponent's turn. They are really cracking down on those two things. They've been doing that for about a year and a half or 2 years now, which is pretty exciting. Okay, scrolling down, no banned spell cards and no banned traps. Okay, so that's all of the bans, those 3 bans. Those are big deals. We're going to notice a huge amount of changes in the format because of these cards getting banned, and I'm pretty excited to see what people are going to try out. Anyway, moving on to the limited section. No limited normal monsters, obviously. Let's see. No limited... Oh my gosh, I was totally right. Okay, that's cool. So, Cyber Angel Ben 10, I'm going to be throwing the stats for those pulls on the screen just throughout the video here. So, Ben 10 is a card that was pretty divisive. Some people, like myself, thought it would be limited for sure. A lot of people, though, said it was way too new. I mean, not the card itself, but Drytron was way too new, and they thought that Konami would not hit this card on this list. I got a lot of strong comments from people saying they will never hit Ben 10 this early, but here it is. It's limited, and that makes a ton of sense. This card should be a hard once per turn, or it shouldn't be able to search itself. Obviously, it's a card that's been around for a little while, and it's never seen this much competitive play, but Drytrons do pretty much completely break it. So it'll be interesting to see what's up with Drytrons now that they don't have Union Carrier and they only have 1 copy of Ben 10. I think it'll still be a strong deck. We do still have that really good rank 1 monster releasing not too far in the future, but this is going to be a huge hit to their consistency and power level for that matter. But Ben 10 is definitely a card that deserved to be limited. It had basically no restrictions, and it was being abused in Drytron in pretty much every single way. Okay, moving down, no limited spells. Okay, no limited effect monsters. The only 1 ritual monster there. No limited spells and no limited traps. Okay, we got a sneak preview there. Nothing's new on the semi-limited. Wow, this is a very light list, huh? I mean, these are going to be big changes, of course, but pretty light. I mean, I guess I've been doing that. But we have no changes to the limited besides Ben 10, only limited card, no new semi-limited cards. Let's take a look at what they took off the ban list. Okay, a bunch of cards here. Dragon Buster Destruction Sword makes sense without Union Carrier. This card is not a threat at all. Firewall Dragon, although this is like the first time I think I've ever seen them do this. We already talked about it a little bit, but the first time I've ever seen them like unban something, but say it's like on a delay for a little while. It's pretty crazy, but I mean, it makes sense. The Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. Phantom Knights, even with all of the great and powerful Phantom Rage support, pretty much still flopped competitively. So it's pretty crazy to see Bardiche at 3 copies per deck, but honestly, I can say that I understand where they're coming from because that deck has been really struggling, even though it does have a lot of powerful cards. We have Delorean, okay, no longer on list, and Ignister Prominence. Okay, those are pretty good cards. I'm not sure if that'll make a big difference. Delorean, I guess, is okay. We just had the Ice Barrier structure deck. It does have the Errata now, so it's a lot worse. I can understand why Konami doesn't want it on the ban list anymore if it's not that good. And then we have Ignister Prominence. I mean, sure, I don't think anyone's really going to play this card. I mean, it was limited and no one was really using it, right? So Pendulums are in a pretty rough spot. And we have Rank Up Magic Argent Chaos Force. That is because S0 is now banned. That's why this card was banned. So that's cool. I don't really know who's going to be playing that card, but it's out there now. So if you want to play it and you were mad that it got banned because of S0, now you actually can play it once again. And True King's Return. True King's Return is unlimited as well. Makes a lot of sense. I feel like I'm saying that, but I think a lot of these hits or a lot of these changes are actually like no-brainers. They do help out the format. We're hitting some problematic cards, and we're unlimiting some cards that maybe aren't being played that much. True King's Return going to 3 copies per deck is not going to make a difference. Honestly, pretty much all of these unlimits are not going to make a huge difference on the competitive metagame. Maybe Rusty Bardiche, that's probably the one that has the most potential to make an impact, but the rest of them are just not very good cards, at least in the current format, or the upcoming format, I should say. So that is the ban list. Wow, a lot of unlimits in some really strong hits. This is pretty cool stuff. I'm going to have some videos, obviously, on like the decks that got nerfed nerfed by this a lot and the decks that got buffed by this a lot, but I'm pretty excited. I think I want to get back into like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh a lot more. I didn't play that much competitive Yu-Gi-Oh the last format that this list is changing. I was just really busy with other stuff outside of Yu-Gi-Oh, so I think with these changes I want to get back into playing Yu-Gi-Oh competitively, because it looks like there's going to be some pretty cool cards going around. Notable things that they didn't hit: they did not hit any actual virtual world cards, which is understandable, and they did not hit any Eldritch cards once again. People keep laughing at me for predicting that, and you know, I get it. I've predicted a lot of ban lists in a row here that some Eldritch card would get hit. Is this finally going to be a format where Eldritch is everywhere, even more so than it's been in the past? We'll have to wait and see, but they did hit some pretty big combo cards, so Eldritch could actually be a good deck going forward once again. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Goodbye.